welcome to the Stuffy Crafter. I'm Jessica, and today we are going to do a Wip Chat. If you guys don't know what WIP stands for, it stands for Work in Progress. So if you guys want, you can take out your own WIPs, or if you want to listen to me ramble about what's been going on this week, you can sit down, do chores, or whatever it is that you guys want to do. So let's get started, shall we? So I finished Aquarius, guys. I'm now working on the canvas that I promised my son that I was going to do for him. It's The Universe in a Jar by Randall Spangler. And I already got the first row done, so I have a feeling it might be a little bit faster compared to that huge Josephine wall. If you hear beeping in the background, that is my coffee maker, so I apologize for that. It's been a very gloomy week. Let me guys know how your week's been going. But it's been so gloomy this whole week. It's been rainy, it's been cloudy, and I haven't been able to get a lot of sun at all. So I have a couple of unboxings for next week because I won't be here. I won't be available to actually do a whip and chat or anything like that because I'm going to the beach. So I tried to record a couple of videos ahead of time for you guys. So some of them have a little bit of poor lighting like right now. So if you see a bit of glare, that's my one of my light bulbs so I can actually see the canvas itself. Because if I turn on the light pad, it kind of washes everything out. So this is just for people who actually like to watch canvas while I'm talking. That way it's easier for them to see things. But yeah, after that whole long spiel, I hope you guys are doing okay today. It's been, like I said, the end of the year for school is always a busy time for us. I'm using a new pen today. I have two new pens actually. They're both from Butterfly Effect Wares. And they're both the Black Prismatic Pearl, but as you can see, they look slightly different. And they're so pretty. This one's like a lighter color, and this one has like more darker colors. And of course, the shape's different and stuff like that. So I decided to try out a 5-placer. I did originally go to trying 6-placer again. It was a little too much for me, so I went back to a 5-placer. And then I have a little 3-placer over here. I might need to change out the putty and stuff. It's kind of getting all gunky. But yes, let's see. We're going to go with, I don't know if I want to go with bright colors or go with the stonework right now. Let's go with the stonework right now. But let's see. Well, when I last left you guys, I was talking about how my oldest daughter, Nicole, was going on a field trip on Friday. Well, the field trip happened, and it sucked for her, poor kid. So what she did was she went to an amusement park. It only lasted, for a day, and they came home later on that day. But she did not have a good time at all. Oh man, the poor kid. So she's never been on roller coasters or any amusement ride. Honestly, I think there was a time when her Nana and Papa took her to like a carnival festival type thing, but it wasn't like crazy rides or anything like that. So she hasn't had really any good experience. So, in this poor kid. So the school definitely did things wrong, and I found out a lot of stuff got changed because of what happened the day before. So what was the funny thing was they had 5th graders go to the same amusement park the day before, and apparently things went horribly wrong, so they changed all the plans that they had for the 4th graders because of what the 5th graders did. So the 4th graders kind of got punished for their efforts. It's like, my goodness. So one of the things that was supposed to be put in place was the kids were supposed to be put in groups of like-minded individuals. So like people who've never been to an amusement park, people who wanted to start slow, people who wanted to just jump on the craziest ride there. They were supposed to be, split up. According to my daughter, she said that everyone was split up by height. She's not the tallest kid. She's a pretty tall kid, but she's not the tallest kid in her class. So the group that her friends was in, because her best friend in the whole wide world is slightly taller than her, and got put into the really tall kids group. She got put in just the tall kids group, and then so on and so forth. Um, Her group immediately went to the wildest roller coaster, like not the wildest, but the second one, like the second one there. And while the shortest kids got to go to basically the kiddie rides first, the slow and easy rides. So Nicole was understandable a little upset because even the teacher was like, "Let's go on this one," and then the other chaperone slash teacher was like, "How about we start something slow?" Unfortunately, the group of kids that she was with really wanted to go on the fast rides. So, one of the things is my daughter has told me that is she gets sick during car rides. So, this kid got sick. Well, luckily not as in physically sick, but she felt very ill. First ride, she said it was a horrible experience. And she did not want to go on another one. I felt so bad for her, because I was expecting when she got home, I had a great day at this place. I loved it so much, and didn't happen. It didn't happen. The poor kid. So let's see. She did get to go on a couple rides that my husband recommended because he went to this place when he was a kid. So, and there was a couple of rides that still was around. So he said, these rides are really good. And she was able to go on those rides, luckily. And she's like, I really like those rides. But yeah, she was a sobbing mess when she came home. She was really upset and really hungry, too. And I'll get into that. Yeah, I'm trying not to, I'll try not to rant. But it's going to be just a little bit because it's my daughter and I'm a little protective of my kids, but I can understand what they did, why they did, but at the same time, oh my goodness, they should have planned accordingly. So with a lot of protocols that got let go or loosened up, they allowed field trips. They should have planned this a little bit better, in my opinion, because like I said, it's clear that they didn't really do a lot of planning, especially with that survey. You'd think they want to keep the kids, not to get miserable. But she said that her group kept going on a lot of really fast rides that she didn't want to go. There was I think there was like one or two that she did like, but some of them she had to go, no, I'm not going on because she couldn't handle it. Especially with how food was. So they didn't go on charter buses. From what my husband said, he went to go pick her up. So when he picked her up, they were on the normal school bus. They didn't go on charter buses. Not a big deal. It's not the biggest deal for me since, it's a little over an hour's drive. The big deal was that there was no air conditioning in there. Like, the air conditioning broke, so these kids are hot and sweaty on the way there and hot and sweaty on the way back. That's not a pleasant thing. So, come on, guys, right? But the thing was the dinner and lunch situation when, which is my biggest complaint out of the whole thing. I'm sad that she hasn't had a good time, and I really wish that they put people with their friends. I think even if she went on a fast ride, if her best friend was there, it might have made it slightly better, especially if she had people that she could enjoy it. Like when she was telling me, this was like almost a group of people that she doesn't interact with. They don't get along very well. So of course you're not going to have the best experience when you're with people that you're not really friends with or, don't even like. So I really wish that they, if they're doing it again next year, which she says they are, that they change things slightly because you're not going to have a fun time if that's going to be like what it is all the time. But yes, let's see. So I said she could have a school lunch for lunchtime, so bag lunch, and then I gave them $15 to have a buffet. They said that they were going to a buffet thing at dinner before they come here, that they're going to be a little bit late coming back home. Not a big deal. So I was like, yeah, she can have a buffet, spent the money. Um, she comes home hungry. They didn't have a buffet. They had the school lunch at the end of the day. She told me that they didn't do a buffet. Instead, during lunchtime, they had a couple of different choices that like pizza, barbecue, or something else. And they weren't allowed like any sodas or anything, just water or lemonade in these little tiny cups that she showed me the size of. Um, and she was allowed to have as much water as she wants, which is good because it was a hot day there. It was over 90 degrees, and which is so funny because this week it's been in the low. It's been in the low to mid 70s, which is nice. I love the weather right now, but last weekend was horrendous. It was in the 90s. It felt like hotter than that. Everyone was miserable. Alright, we're going to go with this color next. Let's see. Yep, I grabbed the right one. Okay. Let's see. That was my husband's chair, by the way. So they had, she said she picked pizza. So she had 2 huge slices of pizza, and she said it was the best pizza in the world. And I'm like, I don't believe you because my husband and I had some really good pizza, but whatever. I'm like, yeah, at least that's a good highlight of your day, that you had really good pizza. And then she said she drank so much water. We gave her a disposable water bottle because they said that, you have to keep track of your items, and I didn't want her to lose her favorite water bottle and have a worse day than what she's been dealing with. So at least we thought that much ahead. But we packed her up with sunscreen. We gave her a bag. She got her clip-on sunglasses, a hat, sunscreen, some money just in case they got to do like little what was it? Like, like the little carnival stuff, like, for darts and stuff like that to win prizes. And, if case you wanted anything extra. But yeah, so they did lunch that way instead of a school lunch, which wouldn't be a big deal. But I found out that they had school lunch at dinner time. And that's when it became a big deal because the school bus, there's no AC. And it's a really hot day. She told me that her food was disgusting. It was clear that they did not keep it cool or in a way where it would be considered safe. She said her food was so disgusting she didn't eat it at all, and the milk was hot. And I'm like, yeah, no, I wouldn't want to drink that either. Or eat that. So she came home really hungry because of that. I'm like, yeah, that you could have gotten some food poisoning or something, So I'm a little disappointed by what they did with that. So that's my little rant. And I'm not as raw as it was last week because it's been a week and I calmed down a bit but I was just like, I can't believe that they did that. I really can't, especially since I spent $15 for her to have a buffet. And my husband's like, well, they did all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I was really riled up. But my neighbor, she works at the school. She's a volunteer assistant for the school, and she was telling me what was going on. And the thing was also on that Friday was a publishing party for my twins, my son Michael and my daughter Jana, and they had stuff in their school. So I was talking to a different teacher because I said, I will see you again when I pick up the kids, but you won't see Nicole. And she goes, yeah, she's having a field trip. I'm like, yeah. And she was like, I went yesterday with the 5th graders. Some kids got dehydrated and only drank pop all the time. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like, some kids got really sick and everything. So, but I found out it was a lot more than that from my neighbor. Let's see. She said that what happened was the 5th graders refused to drink water all day, and then of course kids got dehydrated, and got sick, and then also during the buffet, they were what happened was they ate over, a lot of them overate and also got really sick at that point too, and they kind of went a little crazy. And I was just thinking, well, instead of punishing, the fourth graders for the fifth graders' behavior, maybe what you should have done was like limit them. Maybe just a little bit. You guys are the adults here. You can't say let's not. All right. But yeah, it was just like, it was very disappointing how they did that, and it was clear that they didn't really have a good backup plan. So that's why I was like, you can't just give kids like food like that at the end of the day. I understand why you did it, but you could have had better plan, a better plan for it. Sorry, I'm kind of really, words are hard today, man. Let's see. But yeah, during that same day, the twins had their publishing party, and we went to the school to listen to them read their stories to us. My kids are very imaginative. My son, he had like a 4-part story of these two characters. Of course, they were twins, and it was like all the adventures that they went with. It was just like they're going to on planets. They're doing silly things. They're going to school, and then with my daughter, she's all about unicorns, princesses. So her story was about Unicorn Girl and going to Pie Mountain and to get delicious pie. And I'm like, this sounds a little familiar to the thing that we introduced him to, like Charlie. But it was like, it got a lot more complicated than that. It was just like, she meets up with other unicorn girls, and goodness, they went on adventures and fighting bad guys, and then they finally got the delicious pie in the end, and everyone lived happily ever after. I'm like, okay, that's a cute story. It's very adorable. But oh my goodness, so we were wrapping up because they said that it was time to go, and Michael didn't have a chance to read his story to the entire group. So he was a little disappointed about that. But he was able to read to both me and my husband. My husband and I tag teamed because they had the parties in their own classrooms. And luckily their classrooms are like right next to each other. So we're able to just go, one of us tags the other and goes, okay, you go over to the other room. And we were like switching back and forth like every 15 minutes or so. But he was disappointed right at the end. Because he wanted to read his book, and then he's like, well, I want to come home with you. And we're like, no, you're going to stay here. You're going to have a fun day at school. You don't need to come with us. And he melted down, the poor guy. He was so upset. And I was like, I almost broke. I almost said, well, can't we just take him with us? And my husband's like, no. I'm like, but I don't like him being that upset. But we were ushered out. The teacher did say we could take him if we really wanted to, because they had nothing else to do for the day. But we decided to keep him there. My husband did. I was very much about to go, okay, let's go home. I don't think he would have liked that. But we went home, and he calmed down from what I've heard. He calmed down, so that was good. And he had a good rest of the day. So he said he had a horrible day, but then he talks about all the fun he had. So I think he had a good day after we left. We also treated them to McDonald's that day because, hey, why not? Because their sister at the time, the reason why we treated them to McDonald's was because we were thinking that Nicole was going to have this buffet thing that she's eating at, and she's going to be eating some like delicious foods and get a couple of sodas or something like that. That's what we did that for. Ooh, we were so wrong. I felt so bad. My husband also bought like 2 McFlurries, but they were like really big, and I split one McFlurry and I kept the other one in the fridge, and I'm glad I did that. So that way Nicole could have something sweet to eat when she came home. But then, but then yeah, later on she came home. She came home. The funny thing was they told us, oh, be at the school by 7 o'clock. We'll be there. We'll be back by 7. And we're like, okay. Then we get an email the day before saying, well, things have changed. We'll actually be there by 6:30. We'll be back. And we're like, okay. So my husband leaves at 6:10 or 6:15 or so, just in case they get back early. And I get a message, like an email from the teacher, about 6:30 saying we're actually going to be there at 7 o'clock. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! Goodness gracious! Oh my goodness. So the poor guy had to sit out there in the heat because it was still 90 degrees at 7 o'clock at night, and he luckily found a place of shade. But oh my goodness. But yeah, when Nicole came home, she was so upset. She was all sweaty and stuff. We decided to let her have a bath. We don't normally have baths here because it's just like it's such a waste of water. I make them take quick showers instead. But she got to take a bath. She got to relax. She didn't want to eat anything. She said she felt sick to her stomach. So when she calmed down a bit, I made her a bowl of oatmeal. I'm like, okay, here, let's have something in your tummy before you have to go to bed because it's already getting late. I'm like, so I gave her a bowl of oatmeal, and then we watched Sailor Moon, and then a little bit, she's like, can I have something sweet? And I gave her ice cream. I gave her the McFlurry. She didn't eat the whole thing, thankfully. I think that would have made her sick. But she ate part of her McFlurry and put the rest in the freezer. And we chilled and watched Sailor Moon. And it was just like, well, I'm sorry you had a bad time. But we're making plans. Because she says she never wants to go back there. And we don't want her experience be ruined or marred like that. So my husband is going to take her again this summer, and what he's going to do is just have her ride all the rides she wants to do, and take it slow. And if she wants to go on a fast one, he's right there with her, every step of the way, so she's not going to be scared, and so that way she could have a fun time and not be nervous. She doesn't have to go on the fast ones if she doesn't want to, that kind of stuff. So. But yeah, poor kid. I just felt so bad for her. Okay, the light of this is kind of making it hard for me to see where everything's located, so I'm going to move that. Okay. But then I think, okay, so, and then we didn't do much on the weekend. Again, it was it was kind of a rainy weekend for one part of it. But my in-laws came over with the car on Saturday, so my husband got to try that out. And then by the way, coffee break if you haven't. So he got to drive around in his new car. He's so happy about it. He's so excited. But we spent the next day actually cleaning up the garage. It's not fully cleaned out, but we were able to move all the stuff and throw away all the crap to finally get the car fit into there. So we have to do a bit more work because we have so much stuff in there. We're scared of scratching that car. We don't want to do anything to it. The bikes are between both cars, so we have the bikes and the scooters, but the bikes are closer to the minivan than the other side, because our minivan's already scratched up from the kids. We're very protective of the new car. No touchy touch. Don't even look at it, kids, is what my husband did. Because our kids are destructive and we don't want them anywhere near that car. But it is parked. It is inside the house, and that gives my husband a sense of a peace of mind. So nothing's going to happen, because there is break-ins and stuff here. We do keep our car locked, and a lot of people here, for some reason, a lot of people keep their doors unlocked and cars unlocked, and then of course they complain about the fact that someone breaks in or comes into their house. It's maybe you should lock up, just maybe, just maybe. But yeah, it's just, so we keep everything locked up. But it was It was a stressful day trying to get that done. I kept an eye on the kids. I did some diamond painting. I was working on the Aquarius one. So I was so glad I got that finished. I think I finished that. Goodness, what was it? Saturday night maybe, or was it Sunday night? I don't remember. Um, no, it's Sunday night because I was still working on. Yeah, it was. Wait. I don't remember. I think it was either Saturday night or Sunday. So I was probably working on this one then. Geez, my brain is not working. I would have to look at the logbook to see. But yeah, so I was working on a diamond painting, either this one or the other one, while I watched the kids to make sure that they wouldn't bother my husband. Was unsuccessful because they love to go to him, like flies to honey, to just woo, daddy, they love their daddy. but um, but yeah, that got cleaned up. That was Saturdays, and then we also dumped books at the library. Earlier in the day, my husband also took Michael to go get his hair cut because his hair was starting to get long. Um, Not my favorite haircut, to be honest. It's cute on him, but I mean, like, you know how it is with some hairstylists. It's always a hit and miss, and this one was a little bit of a miss. I feel like it could have been blended in a bit better with his hair. Like, they could have faded up a little bit more because the back of his head still has that cowlick. Like, it's all short and it gets longer at the top, which is what I want, instead of like buzz cut. But man, he has this huge cowlick on the back of his head still, and it's like I'm trying to smooth it down. um, yeah, the glare of this is, I might have to turn on the light pad, and I apologize if I do, but I might have to. It is very gloomy out. It's actually started to get darker. I hope it doesn't rain. Also, let me check the time. Where's a good spot to look? Oops. Okay, so I have a little bit of time left. The reason why I'm saying that is so today's a half day for school. It's the final day of school for my kids. So we have to pick them up in a little bit. I won't be able to get this video out today on Thursday. I'll have it out by Friday, which is the time you'll see, so hopefully. But yeah, it's like I'm trying to make sure I have things done. I'm trying to like make a lot of recordings and stuff like that before the kids come here, and then I gotta figure out all of summer because I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what has happened. I don't think anything happened Monday. No, I didn't sleep at all. I didn't get to sleep in at all this week. I don't think. I think maybe one day I got to sleep in. Nothing happened Monday, which was great because like I said, I've been trying to get through a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get ready for the trip too. Been like getting their swimsuits ready. I ordered their new swimsuits. I ordered a swimsuit for myself. I don't like it. It's the only thing that would fit me, but I don't like it. But I'll deal with it. So, but yeah, the kids are so excited about it. They're like bouncing all over the place. We're literally leaving in a few days. Like, it's like school break, summer break, and vacation. It's like bam. So we also had the award ceremonies this week too. I cried so much. I was a blubbering wreck yesterday. So on Tuesday, it was for Michael and Jana's awards ceremony. I did really well. I watched them, I clapped. I had a couple tears. Nothing, did not cry like a big baby. But I noticed that Michael was upset during the whole thing. He was not a happy little man, and I was kind of worried about him. And they were doing their final pictures. They were doing the class pictures where everyone holds their awards or their certificates, and then they're supposed to go to their classes. We already told the kids, we are not picking you up. We're going to let you spend the rest of the day at school. You stay home. Not stay home. You stay in school, and that was that. So we already told them that ahead of time because they were expecting us to pick them up, and we're like, nope, you're staying. You're staying here. Michael starts screaming like, my tummy hurts, and just crying. And I'm like, uh-oh. So like, I'm supposed to like just meet up, like if I wanted to meet up in the classroom. I immediately rushed to the group, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, my tummy hurts. I hurt a lot. I'm like, okay, well, and I'm like, I'll get you out then. I'll pick you out. I'll take you out of school. And I'm like, you just got to go to your classroom. It's okay. And the nurse actually came up to me and said he had diarrhea this morning. Like, it was really bad. Like, to the point that they gave him a baby wipe to help clean up. So, my goodness, this poor kid. So, my husband and I are talking on the way back. I'm like, okay, well, if we're taking Michael, we might as well just get Jaina as well, because, I mean, it's only fair. So that's what we did. The cute thing was, I go into Jaina's classroom, and Jaina's all like, Mommy! And gives me a hug, and makes me pick her up, essentially. Like, lifts her legs up in the air as I'm hugging her. So, I'm like, okay, ow. And then I asked her where her certificates were, and she goes, in my backpack. I'm like, okay, let's go get it. And then she goes, okay, the teacher's already directing me where to sign her out. And I'm like, okay. And she pulls out the certificates instead of getting her backpack. I'm like, no, I meant your backpack, sweetie. She goes, why? I'm like, I'm taking you home. Sorry, excuse me. So, I mean, like, out of the whole thing, that was cute. Especially since I said I wasn't going to. So, she was so happy that we did that for her. And it's probably a good thing I actually did, because there was like 2 or 3 students left after I left with her. There was like only 2 or 3 left in her class. So we get the kids. We asked them if they're hungry because it was getting close to their lunchtime. We already looked at the time because it's 11 o'clock by that point, and we got McDonald's. I hate McDonald's. We picked up McDonald's. But we were like kind of worried because we're like, hopefully Michael doesn't get sick or anything like that. He ate it. We said you can have a picnic on the in the living room sorry. You can have a picnic on the living room floor. Just please be careful. We even treated them to having Dr. Pepper. Like, we normally buy Sprite for these kids. If we get soda, we treated them to Dr. Pepper this time. So they were excited about that. We told them to take it easy on the drink, to take it very slow. Don't just gulp it down and not have any food. Michael takes us seriously when we say that. He does drink his soda slowly. Jaina, on the other hand, she'll gulp it if you don't watch out. So they ate their foods. They had like a cheeseburger and fries. I had a Big Mac and I was not happy about it. It was so saucy. I don't like McDonald's very well anymore. It's just, I'm so McDonald's out. The kids are obsessed with McDonald's. And they had McDonald's on Friday, and then they get McDonald's again on Tuesday. I'm like, no more McDonald's. On Friday, though, I picked Subway for me. I'm like, can you just go pick up Subway if you're going to get McDonald's for the kids? I really don't want to eat there. So at least I didn't have a McDonald's that day. But yeah, they got to come home. They got to watch Animaniacs while waiting for their big sister to come home. So, and then his tummy got a little bit better. But what we were starting to think was, oh God, what if we switched the milk? What if they switched their bowls? I don't know if that's what happened or if it... I don't know, because Michael can't handle drinking milk very well. He can handle some cheeses and ice cream to an extent, but if you just give him like a cup of milk or like cereal with milk in it, his tummy... It tears his stomach up something really bad, like because for a while his teacher says he's been going to the bathroom a lot and been having diarrhea and stuff. And sorry if that disgusts you guys. I apologize. And I'm like, oh. And we figured out that it was milk making his tummy hurt. So we switched to almond milk for him. And that's been working really well. So I don't know if the milk got switched or what. Apparently, they all claim that nothing got switched. But my suspicion is something happened to cause his stomach to act like that. Because he was so much better the later part of the day. So, I don't know. But then yesterday was Nicole's award ceremony. And then, oh my goodness. I thought I did good. Not crying at all with Michael and Jana's. But with Nicole's, I was still doing good. I'm like a couple tears, but I was able to hold back. And they didn't do this with the twins award ceremony, but they had a slideshow for Nicole's class, her group. They had a slideshow of all the kids, and they played, the moving on type music, like going on to the next grade kind of thing. Yeah, at least the lights were turned off. They turned off the lights. The projector came down, and they started playing this. And you guys, I started sobbing. My husband's holding my hand, and I'm just squeezing it as tight as I can, trying not to make noise. I'm like, like that, like just tears, staining my mask and everything, and I'm like, just trying not to cry. Oh, it did not. I cried so much because there was a few of her in there with her friends, and she likes to do the peace sign a lot, and tilt her head, and it's so cute. And I'm seeing like stuff like from the very beginning of the year of this school year, and then of course like the field trip, the field trip, and she's like, sitting with the group, and at least she was with her friends, and then she's like, peace, like that, and I'm like, oh, my baby's grown up. And it's just like, my husband's like, it's okay. I was just like, my baby. And then, after the whole thing, we go up to at least hug her, and we ask her if she wants to come home, like how her brother and sister was able to. And she's like, yeah, I want to come home. So she came home with us yesterday. We got to watch Sailor Moon. She's like, mommy-daughter thing. I'm like, okay. Ooh, I have a story for you guys. In just a moment. That mommy-daughter thing just reminded me of a thing that happened on Saturday. But first, we went to KFC/Taco Bell in this area, and she got to have. She wanted fried chicken, so I was like, okay, whatever. I don't like much things off either menu from there. But got a chicken sandwich, so I was like, okay, whatever. It wasn't too bad, so at least that's that. I'm kind of a picky eater, guys. But then, yeah, she got to spend the day with me, and we watched Sailor Moon. We had a Sailor Moon marathon, and then we watched Sailor Moon later on that night. So we're almost done. We have 2 more episodes, and she wants to watch those 2 today because she's going to be spending the night with her Nana tomorrow, so we won't be able to watch them. We have, because today I won't be able to watch them tonight, because I play WoW, and I have Mythic Plus tonight, so won't be able to spend some time with her on that, so I have to do it sometime today and send the twins upstairs, because I don't want them watching that. There's some cursing and things like that, and the twins don't need to do that yet. They don't understand that some words are not words you need to say. We've talked about it, but they still don't get the mental capacity that they shouldn't probably say these words. Even though they're 7, they don't have a lot of common sense. But, okay. Quick story. Okay, so the Saturday thing. Saturday's rainy too, by the way, so we've been having a lot of storms that came in. But I've been having a hard time ordering my daughter's swimsuit. We got her a swimsuit way back in February when they were doing swim lessons for the entire 4th grade class. She doesn't fit in it at all. It's too tight. She shot up like a rocket between February and now. I'm like, please stop, slow down with the growing, please. But I've been trying to order her a swimsuit. I gotten her brother and her sisters. They came in within 2 days. Hers was supposed to show up on the 17th, if I remember correctly. The day before it goes, or the day of, I get a notification saying that it's going to be delayed. So I cancel it. I go back online on Walmart and I order another one for pickup. And it says I can pick it up after 11 a.m. that day. I'm like, great, because we're still trying to clean up a little bit and throw stuff into the recycle bin and stuff like that. I don't get any alerts of it's going to be ready. So I was like, okay, maybe tomorrow I'll pick it up. And then tomorrow it says basically it's delayed. I'm like, it's literally just a swimsuit at the store. Why? Why are you having an issue with it? So I cancel it because at this point it's like, okay, well, I'll just go and we gotta go to Walmart and pick up a couple of things. Might as well have Nicole come with me. And I tell her this, and she's just like, Mommy, daughter day. And I was like, oh boy. So I hate shopping. I despise shopping. My daughter seems to love it. I can see the future, and it's not pretty. I don't like the future right now. So we get into Walmart, and one of the things is I'm looking for pool noodles as well. Not for the beach itself, but I need more pool noodles for my table. This one I torn up in a state of fidgeting, so I need a new one because it's not going to stay on the table much longer. And then I wanted to buy a couple of other pool noodles and cut them in half and let the kids just like play swords and stuff like that at home during the summer vacation, just so that they have something to do. They can chase each other and have fun. They don't have pool noodles. They have the mega ones, but they're too hard and too big. I don't need something that big on my table. And they don't need that because that's going to hurt them. So I'm like, okay, whatever. We get to the clothing aisle, and then she immediately starts, we need to get this, and this, and I'm like, no, Daddy told me not to go crazy. Calm down. I did agree to buy her a tank top since she's been so helpful, so I got her a mermaid tank top since she's obsessed with mermaids. But she wanted another pajama set. There's like a mermaid pajama set. And I'm like, no. But she's like, please. And then she wanted me to get a matching shirt for her sister. And I'm like, no. Please, no. I only said yes to 2 things there. And that was that t-shirt. And then like some Hershey's Kisses. I'm sorry. I realized I wasn't doing any diamond painting. I'm falling into that curse, guys. Let's see. But let me think. So when we get to the swimsuit aisle, guess what I found immediately that I was trying to get? The swimsuit that was in her size right there. I'm just like, are you kidding me? So we picked out a couple other swimsuits because she wanted to try some on. She even wanted to try a bikini, which I was like, okay, thinking I'm not ready for this. Excuse me. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. But she didn't like it, and I'm like, whew. But I think we went only with 3 swimsuits before we settled on the one that she picked originally, which was this cute little tankini type outfit with flowers and things like that. She really wanted one with pineapples or watermelon, but unfortunately nothing was in her size because that was her first thing that she wanted. But we went with a lot of different options to try out with, but like I said, poor kid couldn't get her first thing. But at least she got something that we picked originally. Excuse me. But then we went around the store to get a couple of things that we were supposed to stock up on, and the funny thing was, we heard the rain pouring. I had to I had to get shoes for myself, so I picked out a pair of sandals, and my husband chastised me, saying, you should have gotten the more expensive sandals, because like there was 2 sandals that was for sale there. One was like $15 and the other one was $12, and I went with the $12 one. But I like the $15 one more. The $12 one feels kind of weird and clunky, and I tried on the $15 one. It felt so nice. And he's like, you should have done that. I'm like, well, I was trying to save money. Oh well, right? But yeah, as we're shopping, I'm hearing the rain pour, and I'm like, oh boy, this isn't good. And I'm thinking that, it'll clear up when we get we'll get outside. It did not clear out. It started dumping buckets, and oh my gosh, I call him and go, okay, can you come to the entrance and pick us up? And he goes, okay. And he doesn't drive all the way to the entrance. He drives to near the entrance. So I still had to run out there with the shopping cart, and I'm telling Nicole to run. And she gets into the car. I get soaked within 5 seconds. And literally, I'm soaked. That's how bad it dumped on us. I'm tossing groceries into the car. I fling the grocery cart back towards the entrance at this point, because I'm like, I need to get in the car. And I sit down, and I'm like, that sucked. And then he goes, oh, in-laws are coming over. I'm like, you told me 4:30. At the time, it was like 3:40 or something like that. He goes, yeah, they're coming over. I'm like, I'm soaking wet. And the funny thing was, we start driving, and we literally pull out of the parking lot and drive maybe a minute, and it clears up in that area. It stops raining in there. I'm so upset. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That sucks. But we got here a minute before before my mother and father-in-law came up. So that was kind of funny. And then, they handed the car over, and we had a talk and ate dinner and stuff like that. But it was funny, because it's like, I wanted to get dressed before they get back here. But no, I had to do it after I put up groceries and everything. So they're pretty understanding about that. But it was still funny, because I got soaked. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna say one more thing. Talk about WoW for a little bit. Before I stopped. But so I've been playing. Like I said, I've been playing WoW. I got Mythics going, and we've been playing. We've been trying to get into 20s done. So we've gotten pretty good. And then we started doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, because that's our raid days. And since we're not raiding anymore, until the newest update, we're doing Mythics on that day instead. Although when I get back, they're doing the achievement runs on on the Tuesday and Thursdays, so might have to raid on those days again. But we've been trying to time 20s, and this Tuesday we did a really good job. We got 3 20s, so my teammates have higher scores than I do. I'm still at 2,600 something. They're almost at 3K, and I wanted to get a 3K before the next patch, but I don't think that's happening. I've been really nice and letting people take my spot, so I haven't been able to run as many mythics as my group does, unfortunately. Oh well, right? You can't complain too much. At least they're gonna get stuff. I did finally get the mount Tuesday. So yay! But we're going to try again for more today. I'm going to see if I can do 4 more before we retire. Although I might stay up a little bit later. Although I do need to start preparing for the trip. I made a meal so far. I got to make 1 more meal and then freeze it, so that way we don't have to order too much on takeout and stuff like that, or me making dinner there. Because, the last thing you want to do is, really make food when you're on vacation, right? So it's a good thing to prep beforehand, so you don't have to do as much. Yay! But I'm going to leave it here. And I won't see it, like I said, next week, but you will have videos. I'll try and set that up. Otherwise, I will see you the week after. Maybe I'll have the schedule switched to either Mondays or Tuesdays after next week. So it'll still be a little bit over a week. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!